Welcome to the Daily Wrap on DCTV. I'm at the desk, where today the money is doing the talking. Capital is piling into APAC data centers, and one name keeps coming up: Firmus.
And I'm Nvidia, just back from Kuala Lumpur with a fresh fridge magnet and a full notebook. Big day on the ground too, so let's get into it.
Let's start with the story everyone in the market is chewing on. Firmus is raising $2.9 billion, and the smart money is moving before the vote. Here's the figure that matters. Nvidia is tipping $720 million into Firmus's $2.9 billion raising, according to the Australian Financial Review's Street Talk. The chip maker's paw prints, as they put it, are all over the NeoCloud's latest equity round, and investor documents point to November 30th as the pivotal date for its IPO, and the backers are already marking up the win. Tectonic Investment Management told investors its 25.3% return in the second quarter of 2026 was largely driven by Firmus. That's how much this one bet is moving portfolios ahead of the vote.
But not everyone's climbing aboard, right? I dug into that one this morning. Exactly. The AFR profiles UniSuper's John Pierce as the rare voice happy to sit back and watch the Firmus bandwagon roll past. The piece frames his reticence as courage and responsibility, a reminder that for every investor piling in, someone respected is quietly choosing to sit this one out.
That's the balance I always look for. Who's piling in versus who's holding back? Nvidia, tell me about Kuala Lumpur.
So this is the one I flew back for. Vantage Data Centers has launched a fully leased 16-megawatt facility in the Klang Valley, according to Digital News Asia. Fully leased on day one that tells you everything about demand in Malaysia right now. I talked to people on site, and the energy there is real. And staying with the capital flowing into Southeast Asia, Ming Tiandi reports Princeton Digital Group has raised $856 million for an Indonesia data center campus. That's a serious check, and it puts Indonesia squarely on the map of markets I need to get a magnet from next.
Two big builds worth zooming out on next, one in India, one in Japan. In India, Memeburn reports that Meta's first AI data center in the country will be built by Reliance. That's a notable pairing, a global hyperscaler leaning on a local heavyweight to get its footprint on the ground. And in Japan, Nikkei reports Mitsubishi Estate is embarking on a $9 billion data center building spree. $9 billion, that's the kind of number that reshapes a country's capacity outlook. And it signals real conviction from one of Japan's biggest developers.
There's a land story back home in Australia I couldn't put down, a whole future suburb in play. The Age calls it a $165 million land grab, the story of how NextDC is taking over what's described as a future suburb. It's the human side of this boom. Megawatts don't just live in spreadsheets. They land in communities, and this piece really brings that home.
Back to the capital markets, a big debut, and some caution priced in elsewhere. SK Hynix had a standout day. The Financial Times reports the South Korean memory chipmaker's US-listed stock jumped 13% on its Nasdaq debut, rising as high as $177 after pricing at $149. Nikkei frames it as the biggest ever foreign share sale in the US, a rally that underlines just how hungry investors are for anything tied to the AI memory story.
Not every read is bullish, though. Simplywall.st notes GDS Holdings is drawing heavy put interest and asks whether the undervalued case is still intact. Worth watching, a reminder that even in a hot sector, some investors are hedging their bets. And one last one that had the whole newsroom talking, a debate about where data centers should even sit.
Data Center Dynamics reports OpenAI's Sam Altman has accused Elon Musk of selling public market investors on, quote, short-term space data centers, the gist. OpenAI thinks its generative AI business is unlikely to make use of SpaceX's proposed orbital data center system. A genuine split over whether the next frontier is on the ground or in orbit.
Space data centers. I'll add that to the magnet quest if I ever get up there.
For now, keep both feet on the ground. That's the wrap for today. Capital piling in, a debut soaring, and a healthy dose of caution keeping it honest. And that's the read from the desk.
Thanks for watching the Daily Wrap on DCTV. More from the road soon.
Welcome to the weekly windup on DCTV. I'm at the desk with the Capital Read, and across from me, fresh off the road, is Nvidia. It's been a heavy week for APAC data centers.
It really has. I've got a full notebook this week. Malaysia, India, Singapore, all buzzing. Let's get into it.
Start with the money going into the ground. Media reports a firm has bagged a $240 million deal to build phases 1 and 2 of a Kuala Lumpur data center, a sizable construction win in a market that keeps drawing capital.
And Malaysia's story is bigger than one build. Media flags analysts saying the country is entering a second wave of its data center boom. And separately, the IMF crediting data centers with helping steady Malaysia's 2026 GDP. On the ground, that momentum is very real.
When the IMF starts naming data centers in a GDP read, the desk pays attention. India is the other engine this week. Data Center Dynamics reports Webine plotting a 100-megawatt footprint across the country, while Media ties a Palava land deal to Digital Edge's second India data center.
And the number that stopped me, Gujarat's new data center policy, is expected to attract investments worth $62.9 billion. According to Media, that's the kind of figure that reshapes a state's whole digital map.
To Australia, where the capital cycle is turning, the Australian Financial Review says Stack Infrastructure is flaunting a new 864-megawatt contract amid a $25 billion plus APAC sale. And Data Center Dynamics reports a Vocus-occupied data center outside Perth has changed hands.
Back home in Singapore, Media digs into why the city is building data centers on Jurong Island, a smart look at how power, financing, and land come together on constrained ground. I've watched that site debate up close.
And on the chip side, Media reports SK Hynix's Nasdaq debut sent the stock soaring as AI memory demand pulls in investor interest, a reminder the whole build-out rests on silicon. So that's the week. Nvidia, where's the road taking you next?
Plenty on the horizon. The Hong Kong Cloud and Data Center Convention lands on the 24th of July, then Vietnam's edition in Ho Chi Minh City on the 20th of August. September's busy too, Korea's convention on the 1st, and Data Center Asia in Jakarta on the 2nd and 3rd. I'm chasing a few more fridge magnets.
A big quarter ahead. And that's the read from the desk.
More from the road soon.